to time, but the garbo of pop has emerged from the shadows. Welcome to Kate Bush. Kate, I've not seen you for a while, but when we first met, you were still a teenager, and then you got this garbo label. Did you shun publicity in the spotlight deliberately?
I think on some levels, yes, I did, but the main thing was I wanted to spend a lot more time working rather than spending a lot of time promoting the work. It all seemed to be becoming more promotion than the work I was doing.
So you decided work was more important. And have you been now beavering away in the potting shed for your next project?
Yes, I have. We've been working for about 2 to 3 years on this album that's coming out probably middle of September. And it's taken a long time. It's very intense work, really, being sort of shut away in the studio.
And this is The Red Shoes?
Yes, it's called The Red Shoes, yeah.
Is this based on the film, the ballet film?
Well, it is very much connected with the film. I was lucky enough to meet Michael Powell, the director of The Red Shoes, before he died, and he was such a sweet man. He was really sweet. I thought one of Britain's best directors. And he had a very strong effect on me. He was a very sweet man, and he seems to have popped up in 2 or 3 of the songs that are on the album.
Was he dead by that time?
By the time I was writing the songs, yeah. But,
posthumous recognition.
Yes.
Because your first #1 in '78, it was inspired by a classic, of course, Wuthering Heights, and we talked about that on a little program called Ask Aspel. Well, those were Kate Bush's with her first hit. What was the inspiration for Wuthering Heights? Simply the story?
Well, I hadn't read the book. That wasn't what it inspired it. It was a television series they had years ago, and I just managed to catch the very last few minutes where there was hand coming through the window and blood everywhere and glass. And I just didn't know what was going on, and someone explained the story. They were just hanging around for years, so I read the book in order to get the research right, and wrote the song. And
that had just stuck in your mind all those years?
Yeah, it seemed so strong.
Well,
your little brother and my little sister.
Yes, I think it's very cruel of the audience to laugh at you like that. You haven't changed at all. Are you sick of references to that number?
I think I am now. I think at the time it was fine. It was a lot of fun, but it was 15 years ago, and I think, although it's nice that people remember it and remember me, it is nice to feel that when you're working on something that you're considered to be a contemporary artist, I suppose, rather than going back to something such a long time ago.
Well, it was so different, so astonishing. Victoria, what was your first impression of Kate and that?
Well, when I first saw it, and I was not at a very good time in my career, well, first of all, I thought she was mad, probably. A mad woman had slipped onto the airwaves. And then, really, I thought that it was very, very good, but I didn't want to acknowledge that it was very good because I was feeling very insecure at the time. And then I read a review by Clive James, and he said, this woman is either a genius or she's barking mad. I thought, well, it probably falls somewhere between the two.
Yes, do you think that's a fair assessment?
Yes, I do. I think I probably am truly mad. Yeah?
That's all right.
Oh, that's nice. But the theatrics, of course, was something we all admired. Now, and of course, you've been a pin-up since you started doing this. This week, we had a lot of letters in the office when they knew you were coming, and I can't imagine what you...
Did you have any letters about me, Matt?
Not one, oddly enough.
Have they been sending berets? They've been sending berets?
Not berets, no. Just nice letters.
A used beret.
But do you still enjoy being a male fantasy?
Well, I'm not sure if I've ever really enjoyed it.
Horrible question.
Yes, it is. It's a horrible question.
Back and do another one.
Do you enjoy being a male fantasy?
I love it.
And so do I, so there we are. Now, you did just the one tour in 1979. It was a terrific extravaganza, and you did things that Madonna is really just coming around to thinking of, isn't she? I mean, the telephonist headset. Was that your idea as well?
Well, as far as I know, it's the first time it was used live. because I wanted to be able to move around and dance and use my hands. And at the time, the sound engineer that we were working with came up with the idea of actually adapting a coat hanger. He actually used a coat hanger and opened it out and put it into the shape. So that was the prototype.
Madonna wouldn't use a coat hanger. That's probably the difference.
Yeah.
She would insist that it was done properly.
Except for opening a car with, probably. But why have you never repeated all this and done another tour?
Well, I did enjoy it. I think a lot of people think I didn't actually have fun, but I did. It was great. But I think I found it a bit overwhelming, as well as it being very hard work physically. I think it was a bit rough for me being so exposed publicly. I found that a bit rough. And then I suppose I wanted to just retreat and work.
It did all come with the rush, didn't it, of course, at the beginning?
Yeah, those first few years were very intense. Yeah,
Yes.
It was quite overwhelming, really.
What about the image of this vulnerable pre-Raphaelite girl? Is this a pure invention?
Well, I think everyone's vulnerable on some level, but pre-Raphaelite, I suppose that's probably a lot to do with Wuthering Heights. I think a lot of people...
I mean, do you live in a Gothic mansion with candelabra?
No, not at the moment, no.
You mean you have?
I'm planning to.
Oh, that's nice. Can I ask, what's your style in decor?
Oh, it's like Kate's. I live next door to her. In the same
Yes.
Similar.
Right. What is a typical day for you?
Well, I do spend a lot of time working, so I suppose a typical day would be being in the studio, just working on some ideas for a song and stuff. Pretty boring,
Do you sit at what? A keyboard or what?
Yeah, a keyboard, and we tend to put stuff straight onto tape, so I'm actually working onto tape, and then I'll play the tape back and, work to the stuff that's on there, so...
What about lyrics? I'll ask you both about lyrics. Yours are very passionate and provocative. Do you get inspiration anywhere?
I think it is elusive stuff, but I think really the biggest inspiration is people. I think people are just so inspiring. They're fascinating and wonderful, and I think, that nearly every idea that a person has had has probably at some point come from another person.
And I can't think of you giving a different reply.
No, I'm not going to. No, going to give the same reply. Absolutely. But things do come from people. What else is there, really? If you're going to talk about any sort of human relationship, comedy or whatever, it has to be based in life, so it has to be based on people.
But do you always do the housework first and put off writing? I've read you do that.
I don't put off. I mean, I do deal with poo first. That's always the priority with the babies.
As
do
baby
the poo,
poo, Kate, you
do the
understand.
poo, and then do the writing. Yeah, I didn't like Kate. I'm in an office all day, just doing, trying stuff out.
I do it the other way aron. I write and then have a
Then
poo.
poo, yes.
Yes. I'm sorry about that. It's time for...
That's why you're not a male fantasy, if I might say so.
We're going to have a break now. Kate will be singing for a warm glass of white wine later, but in a few moments we'll have Lenny Henry.